This is breaking news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.
To sort things out in that regard. So we're going to try to do the same thing we did the first two. It's really use them to help us with some things we're trying to figure out. So in some cases, yes, some cases probably not, but that's probably where we're at right now.
I know you can't give all the variables that go into that decision, but what are some of the variables that you're assessing in terms of do you need to see them in a game action or not?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you use everything as an entire body of work. Some guys got more opportunities in the spring. Whether that was availability of others or not. Some guys have had more opportunities in training camp practices. So we've kind of used the games as just another opportunity for those things to be kind of leveled off, give people opportunities to play with different combinations, put them in some different positions. As you've seen, we've had a lot of people play in a lot of different spots, I would say across the ball. So just using it as a the 4 days are just extra opportunities for us to do that. So again, we're trying to make sure we put them in the right spots so we can make a good decision, give them enough opportunities to earn the role that they're looking to earn on the team, and then hopefully we make a great decision at the end of camp.
You're 4 weeks into camp. I'm curious, what has been the most pleasant surprise for you? Maybe that 4 weeks ago you weren't suspecting.
The weather. I mean, like the fact that it hasn't been, 115 degrees. I know that's a non-football answer, but the reality is, we've heard about that a lot, and talking to the people that have been here. My take is that this is a unique last 3 weeks here, and some of our schedules, we had planned on some things like today. We're going to go at 9:30 outside, just like we did yesterday, because we feel like we can. Prior to camp starting, that conversation was pretty much null and void relative to being able to do that. So that's been a different thing. I just think the way that this group approaches every day is really it gives us a great opportunity to make progress. You're still getting to know everybody, and our team's still getting to know each other. And so, this is a really formative part of the year where the culture, the bonding, the team building activities, the opportunity to get to know one another and play together and start to develop that feeling that you want them to have for one another as we go into the regular season and start battling with each other. I think that's really been not a surprise to me, but it's been really something fun to watch, and hopefully we'll continue to do that today.
Josh, if we can go back for a second, just to Vin's question, all due respect, instead of identifying groups as starters and putting a label, maybe specificity with Carr, Adams, Crosby, the key guys. Is it something you're going to see in practice or during the game where you'll decide variables that they will get playing time?
They're all key guys. I'm talking about all of them are key to me. And so, I understand the question. We have 2 joint practices coming up next week. That's a different environment for sure. And then we have the 4 preseason games. I mean, every day is a great opportunity. I don't look at the preseason games like they're any, it's like it's any different opportunity than what we have today. We're going to be out there today for 2 hours in the heat, in pads, doing things too that'll help us make our decisions. So, everybody's important. Every rep's important. We're just trying to make the best decisions that we can. And, look, there's some of this. It's obviously health based. We have some guys that are battling through the things that normally happen to a football team during the course of training camp. Some guys can kind of fight through practice, but is it smart to play them in the game? I mean, those decisions are obviously, we're trying to make the best decisions we can for the players too. Some of those are health related, but just every player, we're trying to make a good decision for him so that it can help us make the right decision for the team.
Josh, we saw Trayvon Mullen practice really for the first time since you've been here yesterday. What was kind of your early impressions of him just as overall player?
Yeah, it was good to have him out there. All those guys. Honestly, it was great to see all those guys come back, and we kind of limited everything we were doing with them. As we kind of reintegrate him into the practice process. Trey's had a great mindset about this, and he did a great job in terms of working back from his injury and getting himself back to this point where he's healthy enough to go out there and practice. And it would be it would probably be too soon for me to say exactly where we're at on that, after a few reps yesterday. So just looking forward to watching these guys continue to grow and play on the defense, offense, in the kicking units, because they've missed some opportunities, and now we're going to, there's no way we're going to make all those up, but try to be smart as we work them all back into, a different level of volume relative to practice. So hopefully they'll take a few more today and then continue to try to build that as we go.
Well, you're talking about the returning players, even though they haven't been on the field. How pleased have you been with them taking the mental reps in the classroom and learning the new schemes?
Very. These guys have been engaged in every meeting, answering questions, studying the right way. I don't think there's been any lack of effort in their regard in terms of preparing themselves mentally for the things that they can do. They haven't allowed the things physically that they weren't able to do to affect or impact them in a negative way at all. So very pleased with that. They work really hard in the rehab part of it, so I think we have a great group. I mean, they come ready to work every day. They come prepared, and that group is no different.
Josh, you talked about building that running back room. And it definitely seems like you guys have done that. Amir Abdullah got some time in that game against Jacksonville, playing situationally in practice. Where do you see him fitting in?
Yeah, Amir's, he's played a lot of football. He's done a lot of different things in his career, both in the kicking game and on offense. And I think that's really where he's trying to compete right now. And we've always had, a handful of backs that, maybe some of them were a little bit more geared towards situational football, the passing game in some regards, more than the running game, third down more than early downs. He's obviously taking reps on all three, and including fourth down. But he's definitely demonstrated the ability to do some of those things that we liked. That's why we were interested in bringing him here. He's very smart. He's tough. He does a really good job of catching the ball out of the backfield. He's improved since he got here, just in his overall understanding of, what we're asking that position to do and what we're asking him specifically to do. It's a lot of fun to coach him, and he's got a great attitude and approach to it. I think he's excited about, just some different things we try to use our backs on and do with them. And he's been a great leader, great veteran presence for us, and excited to continue to work with him.
Josh, you talked a lot about clean slates and competition. Can you compare the compete of this team of others you've been around? And the second part of that is, if a guy comes in and he's competing, how much does the level raise when he knows that's not the starter? There is actual competition there.
Yeah, I think that matters to all of them. The best thing you can tell them is that they'll determine, how this goes, and if you're a player, I think that's all you'd ever want is an opportunity to compete, to play. They're all here to play. They're not here to, watch everybody else play. So, I think that they're eager for that opportunity, and they want the chance to earn the right to go out there when we send the team out there, whatever the unit is. So, I love that mindset. You mentioned how is the competitiveness of this team. I think they've embraced that, in their own position room. They know that they have a chance. They know that what they do on the field every day matters. They know they get coached each day and given opportunities. And so I think as a player, that's all you really want is an opportunity to go out there and prove that, you deserve to be on the field. And I think they have embraced that as a group, as a team. Nobody has shied away from it. Nobody's backed down from it. And, again, I think that's what makes every player better. When you compete with each other, whether it's across the ball or in your same, group, I think that only makes our team a better team.
Is it as much as other teams you've been around?
It's hard to gauge that, I would say. Whenever you have 90 guys, it's a little bit, like I said, there's a lot of things going on. I've been on some very competitive teams. I think this is the same thing. They're competing very hard with each other. You see them out there at practice. I mean, it's, we don't have many walkthroughs, so they're trying to do the very best they can to execute, whatever the call is or whatever the technique is. And they know that they have an opportunity, which I think is the most important thing.
Yeah, it's Jordan Jenkins. What did you like about him and
Yeah.
bringing him into the building?
I played against Jordan a lot, going back to the AFC East, and, physical guy, played in a very tough conference in college football, and then, came in and, does a good job of some of the things we ask our guys to do on the edge. We'll see how he does here. We haven't really had any opportunity to work with him yet, but has demonstrated the ability to, get the edge on defense and, do some things in the pass rush. So, great guy. Looking forward to having an opportunity to start with him today.
We'll get everyone's questions and we'll Q and then Heidi. Coach, yesterday we got to talk to Tyron Johnson, T-Billy. He said that you've been in his ear about being consistent. Are you seeing that consistent player? Is he getting closer to that guy that you need him to be?
Yeah, love his approach every day, and he knows that. All our guys know that. That's really the time frame we're in right now as a team. Is we all can do some good things. It's just, when you get to September, you need to be able to do those things repetitively at a very high level. And so he speaks for our team when he says that, I think. He's in the same boat as every other player. He's working really hard at it. And again, there's a really good play, then let's stack another really good play on it, and then another one, and then go to another period and do the same thing. So he works really hard at that. He knows that that's a big point of emphasis for our receiving group, but I would say that for pretty much our entire team.
Coach, the Patriots are coming here next week for these joint scrimmages. How much are you anticipating those practices and seeing the competition happen between your team and other players?
Yeah, I think I've been a part of them before, and they've really been a useful tool for us to evaluate ourselves against somebody else in a controlled environment. And so, I think they're great. They're great opportunities for us. And we haven't really talked about it much yet because we're obviously focused on, this week and the Dolphins and getting ready to go down there and compete against them. But there are other opportunities when you sit there and you look at the calendar of August and you say, okay, we have these padded days, we have these 4 opportunities to play and go through our game day operation, we have these couple, competitive practice opportunities. You just look at it and you say that there's, certain days are a little different than others, and our guys are tired of working against each other. That happens at the end of August every year. You see the same faces, you see the same bodies, you see the same schemes, so at some point there's a level of, you want something different, and so next week will be welcomed, I believe, by everybody, just to have a different group, a different scheme, a different group of guys to go against in one-on-ones. A different coaching staff to kind of match up with, so that it continues to add to the preparation for the regular season. But very much looking forward to those opportunities once we get through this weekend.
Harry, in case.
Cuts are never easy, but they're part of training camp. What led to Demarcus Robinson being one of those guys in a very deep wide receiver?
Yeah, those are all. I mean, every one of those decisions is tough. We have a lot of great guys, and D-Rob's been competing since he got here, and the nature of this time of the year, we had to make some tough decisions. He did a good job for us. We have a competitive room in there, and hopefully give him an opportunity to go ahead and latch on. At this point, maybe have an opportunity somewhere else.
Josh, Max Crosby's coming off just a terrific kind of breakout year where he became one of the top players in the league at his position, but he said he doesn't want it to be just one year and he wants to stack the years on top of each other. From your experience, what's the biggest challenge in a guy trying to make that leap to be consistent year over year, and how have you seen him approach that?
He's doing it because he does it every day, and that's really the biggest. What happens, when you get noticed or people kind of see what you've done and accomplished, in a year or your short time in the league, and then, what happens when, you get recognized like that, because now it's different, because there's people that know he's been very disruptive, very productive in his role. It takes more from that person to continue to ascend and continue to produce at that same level or beyond it, which I know is what Max wants to do. He does everything every day that you could ask a player to do to help himself get better and help our team get better. And there's no greater compliment that I could give him than that. There's nothing else I would tell him. You need to do A, B, and C. He's already doing them. And so he brings a lot of his teammates with him. He sets the standard for our work ethic, the way we practice, how we go about our jobs, how he is in the meetings, everything that you would want from a player that's trying to ascend, he's doing it.
Wrap it up, Hondo.
Coach, in your career, you've always had those grit guys that do the little things that maybe don't make the stat sheets. I'm curious, every film I've watched so far, Luke Masterson just keeps doing the grunt work, the grind work. Can you talk about him and how he's impacted his team, please?
Yeah, he's playing both linebacker spots, and he's as a rookie, he's worn the green dot a little bit in these preseason games, which is not an easy thing to do right off the bat. He's handling a lot of communication. He's in the middle of every run play, as you've seen. Tough, active. Works extremely hard in the weight room, works extremely hard to make sure his body's ready to go. He's got a maturity about himself at this point in his career that I really, really like. He's impressed us with that in the way he goes about his day-to-day. And he's competing in the kicking game. And a lot of these guys are learning how to do that because some of them didn't really, play in those roles in college. But as you know, you either start on offense, on defense, or you better play a factor in the kicking game where it's hard to get to the game on Sundays. So Luke's really working hard at that area of his game as well. But got the right mindset. He's a middle linebacker, and, he plays like it. He works like it every day.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
You've been watching Breaking News from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.